Hello and welcome back to the Western Wilds for episode 2 on our survival series. So you might remember, at the end of the last episode we saved up enough money to buy this new Valmet tractor. We also managed to get enough money to buy the water tank as well. So you may remember I did have a water well here, but I couldn't get this tank to fill up in the well. So what I've got to try to do now is just place down a new one and hope that that works. Hopefully it was the well and not the tank. So I think I could probably just get a little cheap one in there, and I will toggle free mode on, place that there. And hopefully now I can fill this water tank and get the grape production started. Yeah, already that is working. So I'm just going to leave that filling. Hopefully that, yeah, that is still filling. So whilst I am doing that, I do just want to check. Wrong one there. So I want to go to ploughs, just see how much. So this is the plough we were looking at buying. It is £900, so I could afford that now, but it would only leave me with £17 left, which is not much at all. So if I did get that, I'd then also want to buy a seeder, so I could get the field seeded almost straight away. So we do want to go for either this Case or the John Deere. They're probably the better seeders to start with because they fertilise as well, which is always a massive benefit. So that will set us back £6,000, but we'd want to definitely get that planted this month if I can at least get a grass field started, because I kind of set myself a little kind of rule just to make it a bit more challenging as such, where I can't just go and mow any of the grass around. If I want to be doing grass field, like grass and baling and stuff like that, I need to plough my own fields. So I do have a fair bit of room available to me to do that, so I'm thinking, you know, get it quite close to the yard over here. I can plough myself up a rather large field and use that for all of my grass work. Now what I'm hoping I can do from here is if I get this in a good enough place, I can start overloading it and still fill it from the same place. So that's actually quite handy. You can see it's still filling already. So that's that. So I think what I'm going to do, I will buy that plough. I'll get that bought now. £900. Does it cost to change the colour of it? Oh, we can't get a yellow. We can get a nice. Oh, that is a very bright green. What should we go for? Yeah, we go for something like that. That looks quite nice. Doesn't cost any extra. So I'll get that purchased now, which leaves me with £17, which I really can't do much with. So I'm definitely going to have to get a couple of trees sold so I can get the money together to buy the seeder, which we'll definitely look at doing soon. How much water can this actually hold? So I can hold a few more. So I might as well get it filled as much as possible. I don't think it's going to go through the whole lot in one day, but I don't want to have to just put a little bit in and then do it all again tomorrow. This one's nearly done. I'll wait for this one, get that unloading, and whilst it's refilling I can go chop down a tree and start to get the wood chopped up whilst it's filling back up. So we'll overload this lot, pips it much quicker than it loads it. There we are, so we'll get that filling again, and whilst that's going, we'll grab out the chainsaw. Actually, we'll find a tree first. So as we found out last time, we can fit one of these big trees on there, that little trailer, but it's not the best fit. So I think I'll go back to doing some of these smaller ones. 25.5, that'll do. So we'll get that chopped down. Down it comes. Get all the branches lopped off. And then we can start to get this all cut up and loaded. I'll just run back, overload this last load, and then get the trailer dropped off there. Hook up my logging trailer. Yep, that's all emptied out. Perfect. So I think for now I'm just gonna leave this right there, next to the pump. Turn around so I can grab my trailer. Wonderful. Get this pulled over here, and then what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to get this tree all cut up, and I will take a cut here. I will bring you guys back once we're at the store, ready to sell. I will see you soon. Right, so I'll just bring you guys back now. I've managed to get 2 trees on it this time, but the trailer doesn't seem to like that. As you can see, we're kind of wiggling all over the place, and I have almost toppled over a couple of times going around corners. Where this tractor goes a bit faster than the last, it's a little more dangerous, so I'd have to be a bit more careful with it. And I'm hoping if I can get close to 3,000 for this load, then I will be quite happy with that. I mean, it'll only really be 2 loads that we have to do before. Oh, yeah, nearly went again there. But yeah, that would mean only 2 loads before. Yeah, that's not too bad at all. So if I can get another good load done, maybe get a little bit more loaded on, even though we're struggling with that load. I mean, there'll only be 1 more load before we'll be able to afford our planter. And we definitely want to get that as soon as we can. And that way we can get our first field in the ground ready to go. So I'm just going to bring this trailer back to the yard, and then what I think I'll do is I'll get myself over to the store to get the plough picked up, and then we can get straight to ploughing our fields. So I'm just going to take another cut here. I'll head to the store, grab my plough, and I'll bring you guys back when I'm back at the farm. So here we are, we're just heading up to the farm now, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to head past it a little bit, create fields on, and I think I'm just going to go straight into ploughing my new field, which I think is going to become my grass field. So I'll probably start about here. Down this way a little bit. It's not going to be a very square field. It's going to be a little bit all over the place. But it'll be fine to start us off. A little bit. Now what I'm going to make sure is that I don't go too close to any of these stumps, because I do want to get a nice dirt path set around the whole field, just to make sure that it's only the grass that I've planted that I am cutting up and selling. I do want to make it fairly large. Now the issue I'm going to have with that, I've only got a small plough, as you can see it's not exactly doing a lot right now. It's better than nothing, and it is a start. Definitely going to have to invest in something bigger when we've got a bit more land to our name. I can't go too far this way because I don't own the area. I'm just going to have to bring it back down here. And look out for where it was that I started, which I think is somewhere just over there. I think I can just about, yeah, there it is. So we'll start to bring this round in a minute. I'll just get the outline of our field complete. Perfect, there we are. So we'll just lift this back up for now. So I think this will be plenty big enough to start. Just come around here and we will get straight into ploughing the rest of it up to get it ready for planting. Now, rather than having you guys sit here and watch me plough this whole field in real time, I will time lapse this all for you, and then you can see the finished product. As you guys can probably tell by the length of this time lapse, it's taking a lot longer to get this field all ploughed up than I had hoped. Now, as I am playing on console, I unfortunately don't have access to mods like the, I believe it's like the real farming speed mod, or something along those lines, which allows you to just farm at the tractor's top speed rather than the top working speed of whichever equipment it is you're using. So with this plough, it is only 7 miles an hour that I can go at. If I was playing on PC, I would absolutely be using a mod like that, because it would allow me to go the 31 that the tractor could do instead. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll take one more pass around this field, and then I did say I wanted a dirt track running around the outside of it all. So I think I'm just going to get that put in now, just to take a little break from this ploughing for the time being. So I'll just finish up this pass and get to the top over here so that I can get that done. I've missed quite a few patches, but I can go around and get those done when the rest of the field has been ploughed up. So I'll just get to this corner here. Now I want to make sure my tractor's out of the way. Over here for now. Get around to construction. I'm just going to remember what it was. So yeah, so it's a nice, rather large field that I'm going to be using for the grass there. That will definitely be good enough to get us started. Now I believe it was the gravel dirt that I have been using. About that size. Now for the one going around here, I think I want to do it just slightly larger. Now I am going to cut into some of the bits that I have just ploughed up, but that's fine. I don't mind doing that. I'd rather do that and have a much neater path around it than have a messy looking path. Get it just placed around here. We'll go nice and slow to make sure we're not cutting away too much. Bring around the top here. Oh, I'll miss this little bit here. I do want to make sure it's right up to the edge. As I said, I do have that rule about not cutting any grass that I haven't planted myself. And the good thing about planting my own grass is I can get it fertilised to increase the yield. So I might be missing out on a fair bit by not planting. Oh, sorry, by not mowing the grass around. But from the grass that I do cut... Oh, I'm not too sure what happened there. I think I got caught on the tree. Yeah, so the grass that I do cut will give me a much higher yield than this very weedy grass that is around. I am realising now this is not at all a very neat path, especially that little bit I just did there. It's not my best work. It looks right now a little bit more like a racetrack than a field, but it will do. Now I just want to get this hooked up to my main little yard over here, and that will do that just fine. I think I could probably also just do a little cut through from here just to over here. Yeah, and yeah, I'm not happy with this bit over here. I think what I might do is just cover these little bits here. Get a bit of a straighter edge. It doesn't have to be perfect, but yeah, that looks a bit better. So I go back to plowing a little bit more, and then that has taken about just under, sorry, £1,500 of my money, which is going to go towards my planter. So that does mean I'll have to take down one extra tree, but I think the result is worth it. Gives me a nice little path around my field so I can get around it. I don't think I'm going to be able to get the trees, or enough trees cut down in this episode to get the planter, whilst also finishing this field, as there is still quite a substantial amount of this left. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put you guys back into a time lapse just to get this field finished, and then we'll see if we have time for anything else in this episode. I will see you all very soon. So we're just coming up to the last few little bits of this field. We've just got this little patch in the middle. So I figured to save this video from being one constant time lapse of me just driving around in circles playing up a field, I thought I'd bring you guys back a little bit early just so I can kind of talk about some of our plans for this series and what I kind of want to do with this. Now for those of you that know this map, you might know that there is the old abandoned farm yard in the middle. So I think eventually what I would quite like to do is buy all of the land acre that farmyard is on. Now it is spread across 2 plots, so the total price for that would be, I believe, about 170,000. I think the land plots and farmland, I believe it is 85,000 per square, or rectangle I should say. So the total cost for that would be 170,000, so it's definitely not something we'll be doing anytime soon. But I think that's the aim, is to buy that land up and just rebuild that farmyard into our yard, and then own a few plots around it, having this whole farming empire. Now I don't think I'll get to the point where I own every single plot of land on the map and I'm, you know, running all this massive equipment, the biggest stuff in the game around, doing all this farming. I don't think it'll ever get to that point. That isn't really the aim of this series. It's not to kind of own everything, but it's just to build a sustainable farm from nothing, really. We've definitely made a good start towards that, getting our first field in here. Now this is definitely going to be our grass field. Oh, I did not, no, I definitely did not mean to do that. Yep, that's better. So, yeah, as I say, so this is definitely going to be our grass field. That's how we're going to make our first bit of money. And that does mean, I believe grass takes 3 months to grow. So we have 3 months to make the money to get ourselves a baler and a bale trailer. Now we do have a fairly cheap small baler available to us. I believe it's about £8,000. With an auto loading trailer that costs about 5,000. And that would be really the ideal place for us to start. So that's something we're definitely going to have to save towards. Now hopefully with our grape production now up and running, that will kind of help us get some money towards that. And then once we can start baling up some of this grass and getting that sold, it's just another way for us to make a bit more money, to go towards some new equipment, new greenhouses, maybe find different animals going in the next couple of months. I don't know whether it is definitely chickens that I want to start with, because I do quite like having sheep around. You can make a bit more money off, at least in my experience anyway, a bit more money off of the sheep than you can off of chickens. They just require a little bit more attention, especially with the kind of pastures and pens that I have installed. The chickens, all we've got to do is provide them with a bit of wheat and they'll produce the eggs over time. The pens I have available for the sheep, you also have to fill them with water, so it's not much extra that you have to do for them, but it is a little bit. But it's also more expensive to get into sheep, which I think is going to be the issue for us. So maybe it will be chickens that I start with. I haven't quite fully decided that one yet, but I definitely want to get some animals on this farm soon. We do have a fair bit of room around for them to go, so that won't be an issue. It's just deciding where. We definitely want to save all that space at the back and get a nice big crop field planted so we can get some crops going. Sure which ones I'll start with. Probably some cereal crops, I can get straw from them as well, just to make that extra little bit of money. We've just got to find anything we can to get us just a little bit extra here and there to really help us get this farm going. Now this grass field is definitely a start. It is very stony though. I will have to have a look into that. I'm not too sure if having field stones is an issue with grass. I'm not sure if that actually reduces the yield. Stone pickers are quite expensive, as I recall. I do have the stone bucket mod turned on, which is very handy. That might be an option actually. This tractor can have a front loader equipped to it, so I could get a stone bucket attached to the front loader and use that to clear the stones. It'll be a lot cheaper, and if it does increase the yield, then I'm all for it. More yield means more money. And that's definitely something I'm going to have to look into. I really didn't line that last pass up very well there, did I? But it was the last pass. We just have a few little bits here and there to tidy up. We are very nearly done with our first field at long last. You kind of forget how long it takes to do stuff when you have tiny little equipment like this. It's a challenge, but at the end of the day, that's what it's meant to be. It wouldn't be proper survival farming if we started with all the biggest machinery. It would just make everything way too easy. Just a couple, well, I say a couple more, there's quite a bit more left to get, but it shouldn't take us all that long. Yeah, hopefully I can get these 3 bits here. It wouldn't be fantastic. Swing it round. Oh no, that did not work at all. Come back down and get them. There. Hold on to get that bit. Line this up right. Oh, if I did. Look at that. 3 little plots left to get. That bit there. And one last little patch of grass here to plough up. Boom, there we are. So what we'll do is we'll turn it onto limited field, so if I do accidentally drop it down again, it's not going to be an issue. And we'll take a quick drive around our path here, just to ensure that we did get all of it. It does look like we did. Perfect. So that is our first field ploughed up and ready to plant. Now we just need the planter. We're not going to have enough time to do today. That will be a task for next episode. It'll be one of the first things we do, unless we end up liming and stone cooking, which is definitely something I could look into. I don't think it'll be massively expensive. I'm not quite sure how it is partly fertilised already, as I definitely have not put anything on this field. That is a mystery. So we'll just have a quick look in here at fertiliser spreaders to see if there's anything I could get fairly cheap to spread lime on. We do have this one for 4.5. That doesn't hold much. That would be much better for lime at 8.5. But it is a lot more expensive. So I think this will be our option in terms of lime, which is not too pricey at all, and definitely something we could work towards with a few trees. But for now, that's all we're going to have time for in this episode. So next time, we'll try and get this field all ready to be planted. But thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.